Welcome to episode 8 of the new season of AusComX show. We are here tonight with Shaden as our host.
Hello, how are you?
And tonight we'll be talking to Rosanna Lam. She is the artist on Hail series, which is up to 7, I've just been told. And so, without any further ado, let's talk to Rosanna.
Let's go. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the AusComX show tonight. We have got a very good friend of mine, also a fellow alumni from Flinders University, Rosanna Lam. Thank you so much for being on the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We are super excited to talk all things Hail. I had the pleasure of picking this up during the very first time I went to Supernova back in 2018. So it is a real pleasure to finally talk all things about how it was made and talk a little bit about your creative journey and how you kind of got into it. So I just wanted to kick off the show, as always, on a little bit about the actual creator. So how did you get into drawing exactly? I'd love to get into that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess I'll start off with a little bit about myself. I specialize in mainly character art and portraits. I started drawing really young on pencil and paper, like a lot of kids do, and later found that I could actually study and refine these skills to work towards a career. So I studied digital media in uni, and then I did some comic work as artist for Hail, then later did some like freelance work for jobs here and there. To name a few, actually, would you mind doing a screen share for me?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So to name a few, there was some, character art that I did for like a board game. We've got some character art for like a graphic novel.
No way.
It's really cool.
Look at your portfolio. That is amazing. You've got some real good content there.
Yeah, and like stuff for I think this was like a CD cover for Rachel Learcar. I think she was on a show. Was it? It said it was The Voice. The Voice. That's right. She was on The Voice.
No
so
way, really?
yeah, and there was like
Oh
yeah. But I guess a little bit about what inspired me as a kid. We can exit the. Oh wait, actually, there we go. We've got some Sailor Moon here. Yeah. So basically, I grew up watching a lot of animated kids movie shows, like classic Disney, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, and a lot of like Studio Ghibli stuff, which all had that soft, gentle, but also like whimsical kind of look to them. And they're all very detailed and colorful with amazing storytelling. Plus Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura started off as a manga series, which is super cool. And also played a lot of Final Fantasy.
Oh my God. This is my favorite Final Fantasy ever.
Yeah, so I played a lot of Final Fantasy and like Secret of Mana and all that. Very stylized, fantasy based, and with like a lot of Norse mythology inspired creatures and lore. But my all-time favorite and the reason I started drawing more and digitally was a visual novel called Hotel Dusk. So it's a visual novel / puzzle game that was on the DS. Absolute, like my absolute favorite game. So yeah, I at the time, I was actually unaware that these beautifully animated characters, although quite clearly stylized, were actually rotoscoped. Very comic book ink and marker style, kind of, drawing style with very well written and drawn characters. So I guess all of that had a contribution to me being passionate about drawing, because I wanted to, create something like that, but in my own way. So that's how I came about drawing.
Oh,
wow.
my God. So how old were you when you discovered Hotel Dusk?
I don't know. It was probably about maybe last year of high school when I was in like year 12.
Okay, so
So I
just
started
before
playing
you.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
just before uni. And like, I remember wanting to be able to draw like digitally because of this, because
Wow.
yeah, I'll see if there's any better pictures.
That's such a cool style. That is so awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's all animated as well, that's even better. But the fact that you're inspired by Final Fantasy VII, I am very impressed, because during
Yes.
my high school journey, I absolutely loved Tifa. I think she was so badass.
Yeah. My favorite
Um,
was Eris.
Yes, yeah. And that was one of the reasons why I went to uni, and that's where we crossed paths. So there you
Oh,
go.
nice.
There you go. Yeah, that's amazing. So you've told us a little bit about your background and whatnot. Obviously, we both went to uni and we did the same kind of stream. That's fantastic. And we both kind of fell into comics, which is even better.
Mm.
I kind of want to jump a little ahead now. Can you tell us a little bit about some projects that you might be working on, whether or not that's just like some still pieced art pieces, or whether or not you might be doing something else at all?
Oh, like now? Like what I'm working on now?
Yeah, like now.
Oh, okay. Actually, I can show you a picture that I started a couple of days ago, if you like.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
do.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I will. Do a screen share. I'll stop that one and then I'll present another one. Let's see.
For everyone watching, Rosanna has only just mastered the screen sharing button, so kudos to her.
There we go, that one.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
So I am
This
a
is
huge
amazing.
fan of The Last of Us, and they recently released like the live action Last of Us, 3 episodes in, I think. I'm on HBO or like on Binge or something, and this is the main character, one of the main characters, Joel, played by Pedro Pascal. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Very excited.
Amazing stuff, and it's still got that kind of like graphic element that you've always kind of in your artwork. And again, it's like super a bit of a nod to Hotel Dusk that you showed before as well. I can kind of see the influence there.
Yeah,
It's
so
amazing to see.
started off with that.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then the outline, and then the color. But yeah, I'm slowly working on the background. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I've also just have a couple of portraits that I'm working on as well, but I don't think I have them here.
Yeah, no worries. Fantastic. And I heard that you were telling us before that you have been doing some freelance stuff. So you've been working a little bit with graphic design, the graphic design industry, and a little bit of illustration.
Yeah.
How's that?
How's that going?
How's that been for you? Yeah, sorry.
How's that been for me? Yeah. Yeah, pretty good actually. It was last year when I was working in graphic design for a like local company. I did a lot of like marketing, a lot of like social media content, stuff like that. A lot of printed and digital work mixed in, like logo work as well. That was really fun. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it, but it was just like a lot of work, and I guess I sort of wanted to take a break from it because I wanted to sort of go back to what I'm passionate about rather than actually just working on things that are for like specific like companies, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like more creative freedom, I suppose. So yeah, I took a bit of a break, and currently I'm just doing what I want, and it's going well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I think
fantastic.
I'm wanting. Oh, sorry.
That's fantastic to hear. That's
Oh,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. I'm wanting to sort of make a online store, maybe like do some prints and all that, like yourself.
Oh my gosh, I will be your first customer, I swear.
Yeah. So
That is
yeah, here's
amazing.
hoping.
Yeah, so awesome. So we talked a little bit about your past, present, and a little bit of your future, which is fantastic. I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty stuff now. So you went to uni, obviously. How did you get into comics in that time? How did you do it?
Oh, well,
The
I think
story.
specifically, I think it was Hale that got me into comics. So how did I start?
How did that all come about? How did Hale come
Yeah.
into your
Yeah, okay, so Hale started off with me as a uni student who attended a pitch for 2D artists to join a project for one of our classes. Um, I remember it wasn't compulsory, so I didn't actually end up putting my name down for anything. But a few days later, my topic coordinator came up to me and asked if I'd be interested in becoming lead artist for this project, because the original lead artist had to leave the country for like a fancy internship or something. I was a bit hesitant because I didn't really believe I had the skills. Like, mind you, I'd barely touched any digital art at that point, and I was overloaded with existing assessments, stress, and work outside of uni. But she insisted, and her reasoning was like my art style that I'd shown in one of my portfolios actually had similar qualities to the art style that the original lead artist had. So it took a bit of convincing, but I eventually agreed. I'm a bit of a people pleaser, but I got to gain experience as a comic book artist, skill build, gain exposure, network, and work in a great team. And that's how I really, I guess, came about with like comic creation and actually getting into like the comic industry.
Absolutely. That is amazing. That's so cool to hear that we kind of came from similar realms, I guess. And thank God you did actually get onto Hale, because I definitely think you've definitely made it to what it is now. So how many issues is Hale? Is it finished or is it still going? Or
Yeah, it's finished. 7 issues. And I believe each issue was about, I'd say like 20, 25, 30 pages, which is a lot. Yeah, so 7 issues. Yeah, we did have it up online for a bit, and we did sell it like at conventions and all that. We even had a couple of events at Greenlight for new releases, so that was fun.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it lasted 2 to 3, I'd say like 2 and a bit years.
Yeah.
It took 2 and a bit years to complete. Like 8 to 10 pages per month back to back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And looking at the inner front cover, Shane, I don't know if you want to pull this up at all, but there are so many names on this.
Yeah.
It's such a huge team that you worked alongside. So were all these also like undergraduates as well?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
all, I think we came from like different streams. Some of us
Yeah.
were in the same classes, some of us like didn't actually know each other. We just all saw the same pitch, and we were like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God. So that would have been such a cool networking opportunity for you.
Yeah, it was. I got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of cool comic creators with like who are like-minded, and
Yeah.
it was great.
What was it like working in such a big team? Did you find it challenging, or did you find it really refreshing?
To be honest, it was efficient, but it was quite challenging. So we would communicate mainly through email and Messenger, but we had like monthly meetings, sometimes even more, where well, first off, like Miranda and I would prepare the comic panels based off the script that she had written. We'd upload them to the Google Drive where everyone else would upload their work as a part of the pipeline for others to work off of. But then after that, it would reach the background artists first. Then it would come back to me for the penciling and like drafts and inking. Sometimes other artists would help me ink. Everyone had like a different role. Then it would reach the colorists, then back to me for every time Glass Lena showed up. Then back to Miranda, who did the dialogue, speech bubbles, and sound effects. Yeah, so it was a lot of work, but it was quite a rewarding experience, I'd say.
Yeah, I bet. That's amazing. So that's really quite different to the norm that we kind of get on this show, where a lot of people, you know, kind of go it out alone. But it's really refreshing to know that, you know, some people have done it in such big teams, and to and to hear how that kind of went for you. That's super amazing. So what kind of software did you guys use when you were creating the comic?
So well, the script was written on like a Word doc. Sometimes it would just be like a Google Doc where everyone could just sort of see it. But we worked on mainly Photoshop. I believe some people had like other art programs, like maybe Paint Tool Sci or Corel Paint, but mainly Adobe, like Photoshop. That was how we sort of so like if they worked on a different program, they would have to sort of import it to Photoshop and then save it as like a PDF or something, or like a PSD for us to actually use. So yeah, and I used a graphics tablet. I've actually got it here. It was this exact one. It was the Intuos 5 Touch in the medium.
Oh, nice.
I've recently upgraded, but this works specifically with Adobe products, so I didn't have trouble trying to get it to work. So yeah, that's the stuff that we used to create Hail.
I bet that Wacom tablet is very sentimental to you. If you've used it since Hail, that's been with you for a long run.
It's been with me for a very long time. It's still going strong.
So what are you using now? Do you have a different Wacom tablet?
Yeah, so I've actually recently gone back to this Intuos, this Wacom tablet, just because of the compatibility issues that I've been sort of experiencing with other tablets. The one that I upgraded to was the Huon tablet. So it's the one where there's like an actual screen, like a monitor that you draw on. But that worked with Adobe for a little bit, but then every update after like 2021, it just kept crashing. So I've gone back to the trusty old Wacom.
It's still going strong.
Yeah.
If that's any nod to Wacom and its trustworthiness, I don't know what is. So yeah. So kind of bringing it back to Hail, for viewers who haven't read it, can you tell us the synopsis or a little bit about
I've written some notes down because it's been a while. So let me go take a look, see. Right. All right. So Hail, for those of you who don't know, is a superhero comic. It was made for an inclusive demographic, but mainly for women who might be suffering from an invisible illness such as depression or anxiety. The comic follows a woman named Lena who turns to glass when she experiences anxiety. And us as the reader go through that journey of her learning how to cope with her emotions, learning how to control the glass, and ultimately turning her weakness into a superpower to fight bad guys and save people.
Amazing. I could not have said that myself. Yeah, and I think that really encompasses it really well, especially with the first issue. I reread it. Obviously, I bought this back in 2018, so I've had it a while, but I reread it just to refresh myself, and just made me want to buy all the other 6 issues, all the much more. Like, I'm just, I really have to know what happens to Seth. I won't spoil anything. But
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. Is there? Tell me, is there any romance that blossoms at all in the
Oh, well,
story?
so with that, Seth, I guess, can be seen as a romantic interest,
Yeah.
but it's more so platonic to begin with because he's such a nice person. I think we didn't really have a lot of time focusing on Seth as a character. We couldn't really develop his character like a lot more than like Lena, for example, because she's the main character. We see her all the time, but we didn't want to sort of have him as just the romantic interest. So Lena does have like other romantic interests, but if I were to remake Hale and if I actually had the time, I would sort of really put more focus on Seth because he's such a good boy. He's such a great character.
That's so interesting that you say that. And I think it's that's really, really refreshing that you say that, you didn't want to like put too much emphasis on like a love story and that there's more empowerment towards women suffering with those invisible illnesses. And I think that really put the cherry on top for me when you said that, because I think that gives it even more depth to that story. It's not just a superhero comic. It's got a lot of like undertone and a lot of relevant like topics that it touches on when you said that. I think that's fantastic that you said that. I do want to ask, do you have a favorite character in Hale? Who was your favorite to draw?
That's a tricky one. I think, I love drawing all the characters, but I think my favorite would be Ebony, so Lena's best friend. She is her body type. She's like a full-figured woman. She's got great taste in fashion, and she has like the best judgmental expressions, and it's just so fun drawing her. And she's like, because all the characters we want to sort of make them more realistic and more relatable to the readers. So her body type is not like the typical one that you'd see in a lot of comics. Not like, I'm not saying that as like, like not like all comics are like that, but but so Ebony. So she's got like the black, like dark wavy hair, and
she
the
appears
nice clothes.
She
Sorry?
appears in the first issue.
Yes.
She's the best friend at the office.
So best friend at the law firm.
No, that's fantastic. I'm so glad that you said that as well, because it's always really nice to see like body positivity in comics, especially nowadays. So I think it's really, really nice that it's so inclusive and really shines a different perspective on women in comics. So I think that's fantastic to hear. Yeah, so good on you. Was there something that was like super challenging when creating the comic besides working within perhaps a rather large team? Was there anything else?
Yeah. So the most challenging thing that I experienced whilst drawing Hale was finding the time to actually draw. Because yes, I was a full-time uni student. I worked as a freelance artist, had a cafe job and a retail job, and I was also volunteering at a aged care center. So I was basically running on fumes, even though like Hale was a part of the topic that we had in uni. One of the topics that we had to do like a project on. It was a lot of outside of uni work. A lot of my own downtime was just Hale. So that was quite an experience. It was stressful at times, but looking back, we actually made something out of it. And so that was rewarding.
Yeah. I was just going to say it would have been super rewarding, regardless of how tough the process was. I mean, you got your name printed on something, and that happened to be printed on it 7 times. So you're doing well, doing really well.
Thank you.
So you said we've talked a little bit about your characters and whatnot. It's a little fun question for you. If you can inherit any trait from one of your characters, what would it be and why? Would it be a characteristic? Would it be a superpower? Would it be dress sense?
Okay. I don't want to spoil things, but I suppose if you've read Hale, you'd know that Seth has like a kind of a superpower as well. So he can actually heal people. So if I could inherit something like a trait from a specific character, it would be Seth's healing ability, because I mean that would come in handy, I think.
Oh yeah. But that makes me even more curious about this comic book series now. That's throwing a spanner in the works. So you've only just been more curious, that's for sure. So what kind of characters would you most likely to become friends with in Hale? Do you reckon?
Most likely to become friends with. I think Seth again, to be honest. But there's also another character named Monica. She's also I think her name was Monica. Oh Jesus, it's been way too long. She works as a reporter, and she's like very sassy, very she'll like joke a lot with you, and I think she'd make a pretty good friend, I reckon. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, okay. So there's how many characters are there in Hale? Do you remember how many there are?
Yeah, there's quite a few. So there's Elena, Seth, Ebony. We've got the Shepherd. We've got love interest. We've got Monica, police officer. There's at least seven. At least seven characters. Yeah.
Who took the longest to design, do you reckon?
The longest. Well,
Yeah.
the longest to draw was definitely Lena in her glass form, because like although I had a custom glass brush that Elaine, the original artist, had actually made for me, I would go over every highlight and shadow of every shard, draw cracks, and like put in the extra effort to make her partially transparent in some areas. But I guess after her, it would definitely be the Shepherd, because he's known as the dog killer, the one with all the dog collars down his forearms. So that took a long time to just like draw all the different colored collars and all the different designs on the collars.
Oh wow!
And you did that manually. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, so everybody knows what you're talking about with the glass effect, because obviously that's a huge highlight. I'm just going to flick to a random page here, Sis, just so people know exactly what we are talking about. This is Lena's superpower, so to speak. And I think the last page in this volume, I'll just pop it up now. I think this spread is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how you do that. That is crazy. And like obviously the front cover as well, you get a bit of a taste of what's to come. But I think you just rendered that absolutely beautifully, Rosanna. I think you should really give yourself a pat back. You've really done it justice. That's absolutely amazing. I also have one more question about characters.
Yes.
I mean, it was a huge highlight for me in my university journey, doing character design. So I'm like super into character design. Any of the characters, do you know, inspired by real life people?
I guess, well, I actually had less creative freedom with how the characters looked in Hale, because I followed detailed descriptions from Miranda, the writer. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she based them off of real people. But yeah, so generally, if I'm drawing a character, I would look up reference images. So I guess, yeah, like a lot of the characters that I draw are inspired by real people, like maybe like a specific feature of that person, or like I want to like convey like a specific trait through like their personality or something, in a pose or something like that, or like facial expression. So
Did you
yeah.
ever do the old trick of having a mirror on the desk and having a
Yes.
specific expression as
Yeah.
being an expression? Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone who would walk past would be like, "What the heck is she doing?"
You put on these ones like.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think all artists understand that.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
it's really good. It's really good practice doing that.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we've talked a little bit about your favorite characters, some that were a bit challenging. I kind of want to move into a little bit more about how you did it, kind of. So in regards to like how you published it, like how was that process for you?
Oh, okay. How we published it. So Miranda was the mastermind behind the distribution of the comic. She managed to get it up on Kickstarter, so we got backed by a lot of people who were supporting us from the very like start, and just people who were just like interested in general. But yeah, I think she had quite a few people that she knew at our local comic book store, the Greenlight Comics.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah. So yeah, she managed to get it in through there. Would have like events that we'd attend to celebrate like a new release for all the new issues of Hale that we'd created, and then we had a couple of ones interstate, and she would email some comic book stores about Hale, and they'd be like, yeah, we can like sell it like physically in store. So we sent a few interstate. But yeah, mainly it was digital, and you can actually download it for free through the website. But yeah, we also had like a lot of merch as well. um,
What did
but
you
yeah,
have? What kind of merch did you have?
I think we had like bookmarks, mugs, posters. I think at one point we were thinking of shirts as well, like apparel. But I don't think we ended up doing that. But yeah, it was nice having like a little, like having your actual comics on the table on the store, like yeah, for all the comic conventions that we've been to, and having like just your merch on the side just really adds a nice touch to your little table.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember picking obviously it up at Supernova in 2018. Were you there? You were there behind the table?
Yeah. So we were at Supernova, Comic-Con, AvCon. We were at the Comics and Toy Fair, and also paper cuts as well. Like recently we had a few pieces at the exhibition, and yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Obviously, shout out to South Australians. A lot of those festivals here in SA, like the Comic and Toy Fair and Paper Cuts.
Yeah.
Definitely two of my very favorites, that's for sure. How did you find going at conventions? Was it your first time tabling?
It was, yeah. So we had a lot of early mornings. I love my sleep-ins, so it was a bit of a struggle getting out of bed, but I knew it was all for a good cause. And yeah, it was nice, like having people approach you about your work, and it was just nice having conversations about things that we enjoy and are passionate about. So that was a lot of fun, even if we didn't like sell like a whole lot like to begin with. It was great just for the experience, and a lot of the time we would also table with people that we knew as well in the comics industry. So at every convention, it will always be like the same group of people be like, hello.
Oh, You had the friendly faces there. That was, a little less. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Was there a convention that was your favorite, and why?
I'd say they were all like equally good. I think I'll have to go with Supernova because that was the very first one that we did, so it holds a special place in my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I think the one that you were at, the first one that you were at, was also the first one I tabled at as well. So
Yeah.
another similarity, another common ground for us. Which is
Nice.
yeah, exactly. I just remembered that I've skipped a question about Hale, and that was, which one was your favorite issue? Obviously, maybe don't give it a why to like spoil it or anything, but like, is there a favorite issue that you really enjoy doing from like start to finish? Yeah.
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah. So I'd have to say it was issue 7, so the last issue. For sentimental reasons, because it was the last one, and everyone was like, kind of sad that it was ending, but also kind of happy because it was the last one. But also because there were a lot of action scenes in that one, and I'd never really drawn like a whole heap of action scenes before, and it was just really fun, like showing Lena in a glass form, like doing like all these cool like stunts and like moves and all that, and she goes up against the bad guy, and yeah, it's super cool. So I won't say much more because there'll be spoilers. But yeah, a lot of glass in that one, so it took probably the longest to draw. But yeah, it was. I think so. It's my favorite issue is the last issue.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Cool.
Do you have any of the issues next to you by any chance that we can see?
I have them digitally.
Can we see?
Yeah.
I would love to maybe some.
Like just the covers.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, just let me see if I can.
I've thrown you off guard, haven't I?
Trying to share my screen. It's.
You've done very well to learn it just for tonight.
Thank you.
We didn't give him time to practice. But I'm sure it'll be worth it, that's for sure. Because I don't think I've seen any other of the covers, so this will be exciting.
Yeah, so I'll just slowly load them up. So that one's the last one. I think I sent you this one.
Yep.
First one. Wow.
It's doing a lot for us.
Yeah, it's taking its time.
Well, if they don't load, I will ask the next question on the list. Oh, look at that.
Well, yeah, I think they're just, for some reason, they're not loading through the stream. Yeah.
That's right. I threw you a curveball, but honestly, some of the spreads, just even in issue 1, and I'm sure it even got like, even more action packed, like you said. I think that just makes it even worth to go and buy the next 6. So where can we find Hale? Is it still in stores or is it online?
Yeah, so it's been a while, actually. It's been a while, but I do know Miranda still has like a whole heap that she's, I guess that we're going to have to do something with them. So maybe in the future we'll do like another stall or something, hopefully, because they were up online before, but we had to sort of pay for the website to be up, and we just like couldn't keep doing that. So it was available for anyone to sort of read for free. But other than that, yeah, it was at Greenlight Comics, but I don't think they have it anymore. So I think it's just up to Miranda and I, doing another stall again in the future. Yeah.
Is that definitely on the cards, or is it kind of like a pipeline at the moment? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, so I feel like you might not. We do have copies of the original 7 issues, but if I were to remake it, it would be like the new one, the newly remastered version of Hale. that we'd probably be selling if we were to, have another stall again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If
Yeah.
you could go or return to another convention, which one would it be and why?
Ooh, I want to
Are there
say.
any,
Do
are there
we?
any that you haven't been to yet, or
Did Adelaide stop doing AusComX?
uh, the Comic Con? Yes, but I think it's come back. I think it's
come
it's
back?
coming back this year. The AusComic.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
from
Because
memory.
I always really liked AusComX, but like either like Supernova because of like sentimental reasons, but also AusComX because there are so many comics that you can sort of look at and be in awe of. So Comic Con. There's AvCon. I think AvCon as well because that's also gaming
Yeah.
as well. So a bit of mixture between gaming, comics, and manga as well. Manga, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually,
It is a throwback to your inspirations, I guess. And that's funny that you bring up AvCon because that's actually written above my desk right now as my 2023 goal to go to AvCon. I've never been to AvCon, so if you got any tips and tricks, please throw them my way.
Oh my goodness.
So you've tabled at AvCon before, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
tabled at AvCon.
How did you find it?
That was great. I mean, a lot of people would go to AvCon specifically for like the anime sides of things. So you'd get a lot of people who would be sort of semi-interested in your work. They'll come up to you, chat to you about like your work and all that, like any other convention. But yeah, like although we didn't sell a lot at AvCon, it was just nice seeing all the cosplayers as well. They would come by and they'll be so friendly. We'll take photos together and like they'll give you like a cheeky plug. Um, it was. AvCon's fun. And also when you are not sitting behind the table and you go around looking at other people's work and the stuff that they're selling, it's quite a variety, quite diverse creators as well. So it's really
Absolutely.
nice.
Yeah. Now, did I read also that back in the early days that Hale was for sale on Comixology? Is that correct?
I think so, actually. Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Because it's really funny because not only did we go to uni together, not only did we attend the very first comic con together, we also put our comics on Comixology back in those days because that was what I was doing. I was like comparing sales at conventions to online, and me not knowing anything, I went straight to Comixology. But lo and behold, now we've got AusComX, founded by the lovely Shane next to me. I would have died for the services that he now provides. Back in 2018, but there you go. No, that's fantastic. That's so cool. I guess I really want to like turn a little bit of a corner now in the show, and I really want to bring it back to a little bit about the comic community here in Australia. Maybe perhaps we can like pop ourselves back a little bit back when you were doing Hale. What was your favorite thing about the Australian comic industry?
My favorite thing. Let's see. I guess my favorite thing about the Aussie comic industry is how supportive everyone is. It's a small community compared to the rest of the world, but it's definitely growing. And I love seeing that passion in all the creative ways it is conveyed through like different styles and genres of people's comics and creations. We all love comics, but this is my way of showing it. It's a bit like show and tell, where everyone kind of oohs and ahs and like motivate each other. So yeah, I guess that's what I think that's my favorite thing about the Aussie comic industry, is how supportive everyone is.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think to build upon that, I think definitely in the last couple of years, since we've released both of our comics, I think it's become a lot more inclusive. So we've seen like a lot of different ways in which women are portrayed in comics as well. A lot of different styles have come to light as well. So I think how progressive that the Australian comic industry has become is definitely a huge highlight, especially for myself anyway. But is there anything else that you want to see more of in the comic industry, you reckon?
Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, similar to you, well, as we all know, like, not Australia in particular, but like in other parts of the world, a lot of the comic content is very like male oriented. Like, I'm not sure how to explain it in a way that won't make me sound like I'm complaining, but like similar to like the typical male versus female gaze, or like for like an exaggerated example, like ways in telling a story and building characters where women aren't only romantic interests and like side characters. So like, I love me a good inclusive comic where norms are challenged, and issues that aren't usually talked about a lot are brought to light, where characters are loved, not just for the way they look, but for how they think, for how they feel, and how they can relate to a reader and even inspire them.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
A
really cool.
wonderful answer. Very, very well put. Yes, yes, I agree, Shane. Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's so awesome. And I'm so glad that you kind of touched on that topic as well. I think that's yeah, again, very refreshing. I also want to ask, because you're a really successful artist, both not only in Hale, but also in your own personal projects. Some of your art that I've seen on Instagram is just amazing, and I've been following you ever since I picked up my book.
Oh.
What is your best tip for emerging comic creators or artists, for that matter?
Okay. My best top tip, I'd say, for comic creators is to network, get your stuff out there, even if you don't think your art deserves to see the light of day, because in all honesty, it does, and it shows progress. Um, and I guess make sure to take breaks. Don't burn yourself out, because that's how you'll get yourself into a slump, and you don't want that. Um, so yeah, that's my top tip.
There's some decent tips there, and I think definitely something that I wish I learnt a little bit earlier in my journey as well. So yeah, I think if anybody is an emerging creator, definitely pop them in the back of your mind, because I think they're definitely very valuable. Now we've just talked so much about Hale. I really want to know, what was your biggest lesson learnt while you were creating the Hale series?
My biggest lesson learnt. I guess because I actually didn't start off with like several drafts of how the characters looked. So I stuck to sort of one thing and showed it to Miranda, and she was like, "Yep, that's great," and we stuck to it. And that was it was the glass. All right, it was the glass. It took me way too long. So I think you'd have another tip is to sort of draw characters in different styles, in different levels of complexity, because depending on how much time you have, which like I didn't have much time at all, it can be a struggle to like keep pushing out pages and pages worth like every month, because there was a deadline. So um, yeah, make sure to sort of organize your time and make sure you actually are taking breaks. Make sure to take breaks, and yeah, set yourself a timeline, and don't give just one style to the creator, or like to the writer and the person like overlooking your art. Give several versions of the art, and make suggestions as to, how efficient it would be, how simple or how complex it's going to be, and like, sort of line that up with your timeline. So yeah, that's my biggest lesson learned, because the glass was a struggle.
I can only imagine as well. Looking at that glass, so everything in those panels when she does turn to glass. So that was all manually done, was it? You said that you did have a brush.
There was a couple of custom brushes, but the thing was a lot of them didn't match up with the background, like contrast wise. So a lot of the time I had to go over them like several times over just to make them pop out of the page. So yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I can totally understand why you went for the custom brushes. I mean, kudos to you for doing that, because it's definitely paid off as well, I think. I think as digital artists, we love a good custom brush. So I think it's done its justice. I think it's really done well.
Thank you.
But yeah, so for now, I think this is actually my final question. I think we've come to the bottom of the barrel. I really want to know: are you planning on doing any other comics? I know you touched a little bit briefly on maybe remastering it. I think, did you say?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, if I could do another screen share. Sorry, I'll just stop that one and present to you.
You're going to be a master by the end of the.
There we go. Yeah, so I think I would love to definitely go back and remaster Hale. So this was what the characters, Lena and Ebony, looked like to begin with. So we have got some concept art for it. So that's what they ended up looking like. And I recently had gone back and redrew them. So that's what I think the characters should look like now. So yeah, I would love to remaster Hale. I would also love to sort of make small short comics about my daily life, perhaps. That would be interesting.
Oh, cool.
That'd be fun. And yeah, I think that'd be something interesting to do, like short snippets of the daily life of Rosanna or something. I don't know.
I love it. So kind of like perhaps like zines.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, there's such a huge like convention circuit here in Adelaide, and I mean, even in the eastern states, like that stuff is just super popular now. And again, like me, I'm very interested in doing that too. So there you go.
Yeah.
We've crossed paths a lot. So
yeah, we have. Wow.
It is fantastic to hear that you've got some future projects on the pipeline, and it's really nice to know that there's going to be more of Rosanna Lam to come.
Yes.
So that's amazing. Like I said, that was my final question. Unless Shane, any other questions or anything else we need to touch base on?
Well, I'll just add, not a question. Don't worry, Rosanna. I'll just go, can you please like the video? Subscribe to the channel. And just a bit of a word about the channel. We have this show every Wednesday, which is the AusComX show. We rotate the host between Shaden and Morgan. So every second week is someone, every week is someone different. So then we've also got the Friday night drink and draw, which is a lot of fun. Organized chaos, I like to call it. We have the Sunday spotlight, where we go into like the process. We talk about the process more than the product and the person. And then on Tuesday, we have Tuesday Chinwag, although that's going on a bit of a break at the moment, but they'll be back shortly, I'm sure. So yeah, so tune into those shows as well when you subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely. And just as a final word, Rosanna, where can our viewers find some of your work? Do you have a website?
Yes.
Social media? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on ArtStation, on rosannalam.artstation.com, and also on Instagram and Facebook as Rosanna Lam Art. all one word, no spaces, and all lowercase.
And it's
probably
yeah, it's definitely
Sorry?
giving her a follow on Instagram. Go follow her.
Yeah.
The artwork is amazing, and I've been following her for a very long time. But yeah, what else? Where else can we find you or Hale? Is there any others?
We did have a website, so we did have Facebook. So if you go on Facebook and type in, I think it's Hale Comic, you'll be able to find some Hale stuff there. Yeah,
Fantastic.
that one's I'm fairly sure is still live.
Amazing. And you never know, we might see Hale in the future, or at least a couple of Z's by Rosanna. But nonetheless, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in again. Make sure you see all the other shows that are upcoming this week. I'm sure it's going to be one heck of a week for the ComX channel. But again, I just want to thank you again for coming on the show, Rosanna. It's so nice to see a fresh face on the channel.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we hope to see more of your stuff. But again, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Check out comex.cx for all things ComX and find out what ComX is all about. We hope you enjoyed the show.